Comfort and complacency both start with COM. So there's a very, very close relationship between comfort and complacency. It's your responsibility to figure out a way to get over that wall or around or bust through. But if you've hit a wall, you've got to get past the wall. We are all human, and any one of us, you or me, we can get to a point in our life where it feels as though we've hit a wall, and it can be very frustrating when you feel as though you're almost running in place or kind of trapped, and you're just not getting to that next level like you want to, and certainly not as quickly as you want to. And so I wanted to talk to you today about one of the things that you can do, one of the principles you can apply in your life to actually get past the wall that you've hit. And I want to preface this by saying that this is not going to be a secret. It's not going to be a mystery. Trust me, when I say this, it's going to sound so obvious. And so the subtext of what I'm talking to you today about is really, are you actually doing it? Okay? Because I know you're smart. I know you already know a lot of stuff, but it really comes down to, can you actually follow through and do the things that you're supposed to be doing, right? That's the difference between people who get ahead and people who just stay stuck. People who get ahead do what needs to be done. They do what they can do. So with that said, again, what can you do if you've hit a wall in your life? Now, before I get into the principle that's going to help you, let me just say that I am Mark Johnson, the founder of Bounce Pep, bringing you ideas for a fit and flourishing future. And I'm also the youngest son of Bill Johnson. You know, I'm happy to have you here. I want you to leave your comments, whether good or bad, whether you agree or disagree. I'd love to hear back from you. And of course, if you give me a thumbs up, I appreciate that as well. Now, let's jump into this because I only have a few minutes. But I did go to work out today a couple hours ago. I finished. I worked on my traps. A couple days ago before today, I was doing some arms. You know, I basically cycle through different muscle groups, but today was traps. Now, when I was working on my traps, I was doing some supinated shrugs, and, you know, I basically pulled my shoulder blades back and squeezed those traps. Squeeze those traps, right? Because I'm trying to grow my traps and get stronger traps. But basically, I'm trying to grow my traps. And what I'm doing is I'm doing something called stretching. Now, when I talk about stretching, I'm not talking about pre-workout stretches that you're doing just to warm up or just, you know, loosen up the joints. We're not talking about that. We're talking about stretching the muscle when you're actually lifting, okay? Don't worry, I'm going somewhere with this. But what happens when you stretch the muscle? Let's just take a simple dumbbell press, and we'll compare that to a barbell press. Now, you know, if you have a barbell and you're doing a bench press, the bar is going to, if you lower it all the way as far as you can go, the bar will hit your chest, and you will not be able to lower the barbell any lower than that because it's already hitting your chest. So that's limiting your range of motion. Okay, you can't stretch anymore. What you're trying to do, of course, is stretch these muscle fibers in your pecs. But you're going to be limited when that bar hits the chest. If you use dumbbells, you know that since there is no bar, you can bring those dumbbells even further down. Okay, you're not limited anymore by your chest. You can bring those dumbbells down further, lower than your chest actually. And that's going to stretch out these muscle fibers even more. Now, what happens when you stretch the muscle fibers? Okay, you're going to create more micro tears. Now, why do you need to create micro tears? You probably already know this, but let me just explain it anyway. You need to create micro tears in the muscle fibers so that when you are resting and recuperating, they will grow back and grow back stronger and larger. That's the whole purpose of lifting heavy weights and getting a good stretch on the muscle when you're lifting those heavy weights, is to create more micro tears in the muscle fibers. And over time, when you just keep working out day after day, week after week, month after month, and you keep going through, your rest and recovery cycles as well, that's when your muscles are going to recuperate and grow back bigger and stronger. So over time, what you experience is muscle growth, right? And this idea of stretching is what I want to impress upon you today. The stretch is so important. It's not only in the gym. This idea of the stretch, I want you to take this idea of the stretch out of the gym, and I want you to take it with you, in the rest of your life. Because if you have hit a wall in your life, it's your responsibility to get past the wall. I don't want you to blame your mama, blame your father, or blame some other boogeyman that's holding you back. It's your responsibility to figure out a way to get over that wall or around or bust through. But if you've hit a wall, you've got to get past the wall. Nobody can do it for you. Okay? So the thing about stretching is this: stretching is uncomfortable. If when I'm lifting something heavy and I'm trying to get that maximum stretch, it doesn't exactly feel great, right? Now, the benefit is, of course, over time, the muscle grows and gets stronger, okay? But there is discomfort that comes along with that. Okay, so same thing outside of the gym. In order for you, okay, to break out of that funk, you've got to take responsibility for stretching yourself. Now, stretching yourself could be doing what you're already doing, but just doing more of it at a more difficult level, just pushing yourself more, just challenging yourself more. Comfort and complacency both start with COM. So there's a very, very close relationship between comfort and complacency. Sometimes you hit a wall because actually you've allowed yourself to get too comfortable. It could be a relationship, it could be your work life, whatever it is, but you've allowed yourself to get too comfortable, and that's turned into complacency, and you experience that as hitting a wall. But the thing is, truth could be that you have allowed that. You've allowed yourself to get too comfortable and by extension too complacent. You're not stretching yourself, okay? You're not stretching. You're not trying to do something more difficult. And so, yeah, you hit a wall, right? Because you aren't doing anything to produce any growth in your life. That's why it feels like you're running in place. So it's up to you. Now, the other thing that stretching could mean is simply doing something different than what you've been doing. Again, that could be uncomfortable, right? When you do something different, you go outside that box that you've been in, then it's not necessarily going to feel natural or comfortable. But that could be the key to getting yourself to that next level, stretching yourself outside of wherever you are right now, and just trying something different, trying a different approach. If what you are doing is no longer working for you, or it's just keeping you stuck in place, then you may have to stretch yourself by trying something different. So I want you to remember this concept of stretching. And remember, I promised you in the beginning that it's not a secret. I guarantee you I did not say anything to you today that was just so intellectually deep that you could not understand it. All we talked about was stretching, okay? The question is, are you actually stretching yourself? And if you're not currently stretching yourself, are you willing to stretch yourself? Are you willing to allow some discomfort and stretch yourself more? Okay? You hit a wall. Who do you think is going to break past it other than you? Stretch yourself. Okay? I want you to think about this. I'm about to get off camera. So when I sign out, I want you to spend some time thinking about what you can do to stretch yourself and break yourself past that wall that's got you just boxed in right now, okay? So I want you to take this with you. Talk to you next time.